Hey guys, and welcome back to Sorare Capital. Today, as you can see on screen, we are going to be discussing a player that we believe from each club is the best bang for your buck. Now let's go see what we've chosen. Okay, we start off going A to W. We have Arsenal. I have chosen Gabriel. If you've seen the video previously to this one, it was I've done all my explanation on that. But they are against Nottingham this week. Arsenal do overall have a good start to the Premier League. Home to Forest, away to Palace, at home to Fulham. So it's going to be relatively easy if they just replicate any sort of form. So clean sheets look inevitable, and Gabriel is obviously also good with his head, so he can score a goal with that as well. And at the moment, the floor price being £37, I think is good value for money.
So for me, Aston Villa, the player that I've chosen is DRB, backing player, brilliant player. I think going into the Aston Villa team under Unai Emery, I think he'll play really well. You look at his fixtures, alright, Newcastle, they're decent, but I saw Aston Villa in pre-season and obviously last season. I think they could be a good match-up to Newcastle. Everton, Burnley, two clubs that you expect Villa to beat. And then Crystal Palace in that mix as well. So, yeah, I think Diaby can actually have a few good games. His floor price is currently £38.21, which actually I think is quite a decent price, especially for a Premier League player, especially for Diaby as well, with how good he has played. If you see his recent form as well, he's not done too badly, to be fair, and yeah, I think he'll be a good fit to Aston Villa.
Okay, now Bournemouth for me, so I'm going to go for Milos Kerkez. I'm hoping I pronounced that right, probably didn't. Young, hungry fullback, 19 years old, has a contract till, well actually he's under 23 till 2028, which is crazy. West Ham at home, Liverpool away, Tottenham home, so they have some easy and mediocre, difficult games, so. But as you can see last season with AZ Alkmaar, he was playing brilliantly. Looks to be a starter for his home nation, Hungary, as well, so that's more utility for him. And he's £20 at the moment, which is a bit more expensive than maybe you want to pay for a Bournemouth player. So maybe wait till he creeps down a bit, if I was to give any sort of advice. But again, he's here to be starting against West Ham. And West Ham without Declan Rice, etc., are going to be, I think, going to have a lot of frailties in the back and within midfield.
Yeah, so next up is Brentford. Now I've gone for, I believe it's Brian. Is it Brian? Brian in Burma. I think he's a quality player. I've wanted him at Tottenham for the past 2 seasons. He's a player that brings a lot of attacking threat to Brentford. His only floor price is only £32.34, sorry. So he's not massively expensive, and if you look at his fixtures there, other than Tottenham, their toughest game, they've got Fulham, Palace, Newcastle, Everton, and for Brentford, that's they're all doable, so I think he can get some good results in there. And just look at his stats, they just say for itself, really. Look at his last game, Brentford versus Man City, and he got a high total of 73. That for 24-year-olds as well, not even in his prime as well. What's not to like about him, really? I'd love to get him, so I think he's going to be definitely one of my picks soon. But yeah, that's why I've chosen Burma.
Okay, so Brighton for me. Obviously, we know the quality Brighton have overall throughout the whole team. I think Pep Guardiola says they're the best transitional passing team from defence to attack in the world. So, and Estupiñán is a massive part of that, playing the left-back role. £20 at the moment for his limited cards. You can see here they got at home Luton, away to Wolves, and then home to West Ham. So their first 3 games are very favourable. As you can see here, he is capable of 100. He only did it once last year, but he is in the greens quite a few times. And towards the back end of the season, Brighton really had nothing to play for. So I don't think they played to their full potential. But apart from that that's going to be my pick for Brighton.
So next up, Burnley, and I've gone for Jordan Bayer. Is it Bayer? I believe it's Bayer. Floor price of £12.93. He's only 23 years old, and he's a defender as well. And with Vincent Kompany being a defender, coming in different type of style manager for Burnley compared to the likes of Sean Dyche, I believe Bayer may actually fit in well with the Premier League. I think he will do quite well. Obviously, his scores are quite high. That was in the Championship. The Championship's quite a tough league, especially to get out of. But I believe, even if you look here, he's played against Man City before. All right, he's got a average score of 43, but they were playing with Sean Dyche then. And that team wasn't as attacking and as decent as what they are now. I think Burnley are going to be a dark horse this year. I think they'll probably reach mid-table compared to where they used to reach, which is about 17th, 16th. So, no, I think he can do well. Plus, he's got Villa, Nottingham Forest, where he can score high on. I think he'll do really well, yeah.
Okay, so I've got Chelsea now. My original pick was Thiago Silva because I thought he was quite good at about £11, but I've opted instead for Nicholas Jackson, a more heftier price, a more premium price. But for an under 23 that you can utilise till 2025, 22 years of age, I do believe he's the real deal. It's at £58, going to be starting on the weekend against Liverpool, but they are away to West Ham, then at home to Luton, then at home to Forest, away to Bournemouth. So the next 4 or 5 fixtures after that are extremely in their favour. This guy's got a goal in him. I've seen him a bit of Chelsea's pre-season, and he looks sharp, strong, quick. He's got everything to him. So, and the fact is, Chelsea don't have a striker either, so he's going to be filling in that gap. I thought maybe that he could be subject to rotational issues, but it seems like Chelsea aren't going to buy any other strikers from my knowledge. It could change when this video comes out. But right now, he is the starter, and I firmly believe he's going to get at least 15 goals for Chelsea this season.
Right, so with Crystal Palace, I've gone for Eze. I had him last year actually, and it done alright for me for a few games. It was when Roy Hodgson comes straight in after replacing Patrick Vieira. I actually believe he will really well under Roy Hodgson, and he got the best out of him, which Patrick Vieira couldn't. He's nearly 50 quid, he's about £49 his floor price. Obviously it's quite expensive, but I bought him at 20, and if I kept him I could have sold him at 50 now. So with him being on the up and him being young, if you buy him now, you could sell him when he's £100 by the end of the season, because I honestly think, and you look at these scores here, I generally think he will do really well. In the first game that he's playing is Sheffield United, and then he's got Arsenal, Brentford, Wolves. 3 of them 4 games, he's going to score some big scores, I reckon, and he can score a few goals. So yeah, I think he'll do really well.
Okay, now for Everton, my choice is, as you can see on screen, Dwight McNeil, just over £20. He is currently injured at the moment. It does say here he's back on the 5th next month, so he will be missed for Everton for the first 3-4 games. But in which case, he might be able to make it back for Wolves. If not, they're still against Sheffield United. When Sean Dyche came in, he actually opted for Damari Gray. I mean, for me, so obviously we know that obviously his time at Burnley, he liked Dwight McNeil. He was a prospect at Burnley for him, and I think overall it's hard to pick a player who is decent at Everton. I don't actually rate their squad all too much, sorry Everton fans, but I think apart from that, the only real gem maybe in the team, like I said, is Dwight McNeil.
Next up we have Fulham with Calvin Bassey, just signed from Ajax. Obviously new to the Premier League, but I believe that it will do really well. He's only 23, only costs £10.34 on his floor price. His scores for Ajax were actually quite decent, and I was against, like, I was thinking when players come from the Eredivisie, I didn't think that they'd play as well in the Premier League, but last season with a few of the Ajax PSV players that came from the Eredivisie to Man U, they actually changed my mind, and I actually think he'll do really well. He scores well, he's strong, he's big, he's young, and he didn't fit into Ajax's system, so no, he could do well under Silva at Fulham.
Okay, Liverpool next. Liverpool for me, obviously Andy Robertson. I don't like the guy in real life, not gonna lie. Not that I know him, but just as a footballer, I'm a United fan, obviously, so it just gets under my skin. But anyway, that's besides the point. So we got Chelsea away, Bournemouth at home, Newcastle away, Villa at home. So I think Liverpool will have a resurgence this year. Personally, I do think. I think they're buying okay at the moment. I don't particularly think McAllister is all that, but if they do end up getting a good CDM. I've just seen Casado's going to Chelsea now, as we're recording. But yeah, as you can see, even with the inconsistency of Liverpool last season, the reason my other choice was actually either Van Dijk or Robertson, and I've opted for Robertson for the pure basis of this. Liverpool, I don't think, are going to get a half-decent centre-back come in. I don't think that's going to shore up their defence. They've always been quite leaky as of last season for goals. So Van Dijk, for me, won't be the go-to player. But I needed and wanted somebody who was a bit more attacking, who was obviously like Arnold, but on the other side. And Robertson, back in his heyday when Liverpool won the Champions League and the Premier League, he was pinnacle as well as Arnold on each wing, so on the wing back. So that's why I've chosen him. He can get the assists and he can get the goals, and that's my choice for Liverpool.
Up next, we've got newly promoted Luton. I was very limited because they don't actually have the licensing with Sorare to put players on here. So I have actually gone for Issa Kabore from Marseille. I don't know much about this player, I'm not going to lie to you. What I do know is that he's £5 68p floor price, and he's young at the age of 22. He's going to be starting for Luton week in, week out. Now, hear me out. I actually think he might do alright, to be honest. I think he'll be against Brighton and Chelsea. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he'll do that well. But after that, he's got West Ham, Fulham, Wolves, Everton, and that's when I think Luton will shine and he'll shine.
Okay, now the Man City next. John Stones. I actually really rate him. He does well for England. Obviously, he's quite focal point for City. He's currently playing as a CDM from what I have seen, but I believe he will be played back at centre back. I'm not too sure, but either way, he should be played, and whatever position it is, he does really well. As you see from his scores before, lovely greens, everything like that, high greens or dark greens. They played Burnley away at the start, which I think is actually going to be more difficult than people anticipate. But nevertheless, they should win with a clean sheet. Newcastle and then Sheffield, Fulham should be again winnable games considering Newcastle's at home. Sheffield United away shouldn't be an issue, and then Fulham again at home. I think the Etihad is too strong a place for people to cause an upset these days. But I've gone him for that reason, and there we go.
Now we have Man United. Breaks my heart to say it because I love Højbjerg and Oliver Skin, but Casemiro is currently the best CDM, I believe, in the Premier League. Cheap price as well, £28.55, which for somebody of Casemiro standard, I think that is a very good price. I think it'll be silly not to go for him because I reckon he'll go up in price after the amazing season he had last season. With Man United looking on the up, which also breaks me up because Tottenham should be up there as well, but sadly they're not. Yeah, I believe that he scores well, does really well in games. You watch most of his games, he's always on the ball or getting stuck into tackles. And you look at their fixtures as well. I think that's a game where Man U should win comfortably. Tottenham, last season I would have said no, but they could probably scrape a win there. Forest, they should win comfortably, and I think Casemiro will do really well this season. So get him whilst you can, people, before he goes up.
Okay, so for Newcastle, I've gone Bruno Guimaraes. For obvious reasons, he's the focal point of the team in the midfield. Tenacious, strong, aggressive, knows how to whip the ball around as well, the pitch. Scores all last season. As you can see here, a lot of light to dark greens. But with their lineup being at home to Villa, away to City, at home to Liverpool, and then Brighton, I mean, you couldn't have asked really more for a more difficult start to the new season. But regardless, even if you waited after, if Newcastle don't perform against those teams, he will go down in price because of the scores that he will probably inevitably show. Although he is prone to some good AA scores. You can see here he goes in the 20s, sometimes in the 40s, 30s. So he's not decisive dependent. So for that reason, I've chosen Guimaraes at £55. Like I said, I'll probably wait a week or two to buy him. But when they start picking up the easier opponents after the midweek breaks for the World Cup qualifications, Brentford, Sheffield, Burnley, and then West Ham.
Next up, Morgan Gibbs-White, brilliant player. Floor price £21.85. I think he's Nottingham's best player. He's only 23. Jeez, he's younger than 4. He looks like a 30-year-old man, but he's only 23. 23 years old, scoring high, a bit of a tough running, I won't lie. I mean, there's only 2 games that I can actually see him winning out of that. But it's not about that, because he's a midfielder, sorry. It's about assists. It's about tackles. It's just about scoring high, and he does that.
Right, anyway, my team is Sheffield United. I've gone Aaron Trusty from the limited amount of players I could have chosen from Sheffield United, so I'll keep this short and sweet. Looks good in the attacking sense. Defensively can be a bit shambles, but that is Sheffield all over. But hopefully he gets in the attacking threats by assisting. Did alright, it seems, at Birmingham City last season. Birmingham are a very meh club. Last season anyway. Again, sorry,
Birmingham fans.
Yeah. But either or, Palace at home, it could be a perfect start for them to try and get some points on the table and to try and kick off the season well.
Alright, so up next we've got Tottenham Hotspur, and lo and behold, we have finally sealed the deal on this beauty here. Van der Ven finally got a defender, an actual centre-back who can actually pair up with Romero. I was actually excited for him. People are saying he's going to be the next Van Dijk. Whether he is or not, we'll soon find out later on. Scores well in the Bundesliga there. Alright, not an amazing league, but Sonny came from the Bundesliga and, done really well. So I think Van der Ven's going to fit in well with Spurs. I think him and Romero as a partnership with the way we're playing football under Angie, honestly, it's about time we had a good defence. It's just a shame we've got no striker now. But yeah. So Van der Ven, 22 years of age, and he's going cheap as well. So if you want a decent defender who is only worth £12.97, who, with the first few games there, other than Manchester United and the Arsenal game later on, Tottenham should be beating Brentford, Bournemouth, Burnley, Sheffield United. Come on, you Spurs.
Okay, now West Ham. I've actually cheated the system a little bit because it's not fully confirmed yet, but it looks very, very likely. Fabrizio today said again that United have accepted a £30 million bid for our captain, Harry Maguire. Honestly, I know he gets a lot of stick and everything like that, but he actually is a really good player, does well for England, is a solid defender, but he just does not work for the way Ten Hag and Man United want to play. But saying that, like I said, he is a good player, and when he's in a very defensive-minded team and he doesn't have to run back with his back to goal, he's a actually a half decent player. So if he can just keep still, he can do it right. Quite commanding. Obviously, the old captain of United, so he's got that leadership quality that West Ham need after Noble was gone. So I think it's going to be a really good signing. And for £12 to hopefully shore up for West Ham's sake their defence and leaky goals they keep conceding last season. Hopefully push them up the table even, to the lower half of mid-table, maybe around that 13th mark, which would be a decent season for them comparing last season.
Next up, we've got Wolves. So we've got Mario Lemina. Now, I remember him when he played for Southampton. We all thought he was going to be bloody brilliant. I've been to a few Southampton games where he's been there and he's a quality player on the ball. I think he can do well actually at Wolves, especially if he gets the game time that he deserves, which it looks like that he is going to be starting. He's only at £5.24 as well, floor price, which is quite nice and cheap. So if he does well, obviously his price will go up. And look at, there he got 57 against Liverpool, 48 against Palace when he last played them, 51 against Everton. That was for the Southampton side, who weren't very good. Wolves are, normally a mid-table side, so I think they'll do quite well. Manchester United away they're playing, so that will be a tough game. But then they have got Brighton at home, which they could do well with. Brighton weren't that great away last season, I believe. Everton and Palace, they're doable, so I think he'll score quite well against them, as well as Luton as well. So yeah, that's why I picked Lemina.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching the video. As I said, if you can please leave a comment below to if we've mentioned anyone that you think is a good pick, or you have anyone to mention that we've missed out, make sure to look. And what we've done, I've asked Dan to pick a random video, and in which case this is actually the Championship Relegation Club video. Over 30 comments on that, so thank you so much, guys, for that one. Let's pick the winner for it, okay? This is the winner for initially Willy Bolly. Malumbu. Funny enough, there you go. He says, "Ooh, Willy Bolly." There you go. That's fitting. Yeah. So there you go. So Malumbu 8. If you can contact me on Twitter, and we can make sure you've done everything.
Giveaway.
Yeah.
Giveaway.
Right. Anyway, this is for Yates. Who's going to win the Yates? Juan Carlos in probably Spanish there. So
you win me. You win me.
You won. Ryan Yates. So there you go, my friend. You'll be contacted afterwards, or if you can contact us on Twitter, it'll be much easier. And thank you so much, guys, for watching. See ya. Bye.
Giveaway. Bye.